What if you don't want to write the content yourself, but you don't want to pay someone to do it either? Turns out there are still options open to you. One such option is to create something using content that you already own. Now, this is a particularly viable option if you're a blogger, for example. In this case, all you had to do is select several blog posts you've already written and then write a foreword and compile them into a book. Add a couple of unique posts to the book as well, and this is something you can even market on your site. On the web, it's very important that all content be unique, as otherwise Google won't show it. But in case of an ebook on Kindle, there's no way that Google will see the content, and you don't need to rank on Google. As long as the content is yours and you own the copyright, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from publishing it on your blog and selling it in a book that you've created. Another option is to try and get other people to write your content for free. Now, this might sound like it wouldn't happen, but it can do if you find the right crowd and they're excited at the prospect of being in a book. For example, you could create a poetry anthology and run a competition for people who want to try and get themselves in the anthology. Then just publish those poems and charge a small fee for people to read them. And the same goes for short stories. There are more options too. Depending on your coding prowess, for instance, you may be able to write an algorithm that generates certain types of content for you. That might mean writing a program that generates body weight workouts, for instance, or writing a program that comes up with strange poetry. Now there's an interesting project. You can even repackage and sell content that's in the public domain. Books that have no copyright anymore are fair game, and if you can find something that's old but still relevant, then this is a viable option. While all these options are legitimate routes to take, though, you'll always have a lot more success if you write your own content specifically for the purpose of selling a book. Remember, people are going to be reading this, and you need to impress them with high-quality writing and useful information. Note as well that this also works in reverse. That is to say, there's nothing stopping you from publishing the book you created for Amazon elsewhere and making even more money from it. You can publish to Barnes& Noble, Sony's Reader Store, iTunes, Google Play, and more. And all of these will help you to get more exposure. Now, this isn't an option if you want to enroll in Kindle Select, though, unfortunately. Better yet, why not physically publish your book? POD publishing is print-on-demand publishing and basically means that you can publish a book in a physical format and only pay each time the book is purchased. So in other words, you don't need to order 1,000 copies and then try to sell them. Amazon even has its own print-on-demand service, which you can use at the same time as selling through Kindle Select. You can then promote this from your website and in videos, and it will look very professional as you'll have a physical item to brandish. You can also use lulu.com, which you can find here at lulu.com. That said, if you're looking for a way to increase the volume of content you can create, or you're looking for a way to maximize your potential income, then another option to take is the horizontal distribution approach. This has a real danger of being spammy, so do be careful here, but it's worth a consideration. Horizontal distribution effectively means that you're taking an idea for a book or service, and then you're marketing that to a wide audience under several different guises with mild tweaks. For example, if you took the suggestion from an earlier video of creating a book that provides SEO and internet marketing advice for people in particular careers, how to promote your counseling business online that we talked about earlier, then you can always repackage a lot of the same content for different businesses. Simply write a foreword that is specific to the particular niche that you're looking for, and then write a generic book on how to set up a website, how to market yourself with SEO, and how to set up an online order form or email marketing list, etc., etc. Now, each time you mention something that relates specifically to the certain niche you're interested in, you include a small tag, specific in square brackets, for example. You can then search for that specific tag using find and replace on your word processor and simply change the relevant text to relate specifically to your given niche. 90% of your book might use the same content, but you can now sell it as online marketing for counselors, online marketing for personal trainers, how to market your web design business online, how to market your jewelry business online, ad nauseum. No one is going to try and buy more than one of these books as the areas of interest are so diverse. So you're not cheating anyone out of a high quality purchase. At the same time, though, you'll find that you're able to get clicks from many different niches and thereby improve your exposure significantly. This is what is meant by horizontal exposure, because you're spreading your product out horizontally for lots of people to find. Likewise, you might be able to recycle specific elements from particular books. So if you have a book on workouts while traveling and a book on working out for students, you could perhaps recycle the chapter that details specific bodyweight workouts and diet tips. It would work equally in both niches. It's up to you if you want to go down this route or not, but just note that you can create a lot more products a lot more quickly this way. And if you have 1,000 books in the store, then it doesn't matter if you only sell one of each a week. That's still going to be thousands of dollars worth of profit. Ultimately, if you can increase the volume that you're putting out, then you can scale your business infinitely, and that results in a near foolproof way to make money. Okay, now you have your niche, you've written your book, and you know who it's aimed at. The next question is how you go about turning it into an actual Kindle book. The good news is that this process is quite simple, though there are some things that you need to keep in mind. You need to ensure that your book is going to conform to industry standards and that it's going to look good on Kindle and it's going to behave in the way that your audience expects it to. Specifically, you should aim to stick to Amazon's formatting guide. If you do this, then your book is going to be designed in a manner that Amazon refers to as Kindle Format 8. So the first thing you need to do is to take your content and dump it into a Word document. Now, ideally, your content will already be in Microsoft Word format. There are other ways to make a Kindle book, but this is by far the simplest and the quickest. If you don't already have Word, then it's a great investment and one that's certain to be worth your while. Sign up for Office 365 and you'll also get Excel and all the other tools that you associate with Office. Additionally, you'll be able to run the software on smartphones, which could come in handy if you like writing on the bus. Alternatively, you can try one of the free Office suites out there, like LibreOffice. Now, these save in their own file format, but they also have the ability to save as an MS Word file. However, sometimes some of the formatting doesn't convert well, so you have to play it by ear when you use one of these. Now, make a note of the following points as they're kind of crucial. And the first is the file format. The file format that you're going to create your book in is DOC or DOCX. As we'll see later on, Amazon can automatically convert this for you. However, if you want to add in guide pages, etc., then you eventually want to save your file as a web page filtered or web page. This should create an HTML format file, and it will allow Kindle to understand all of the different reference elements, etc. This is easy to do in Word. You simply select that option instead of .doc when saving as. Just make sure that you're completely happy with the final layout and the product before you go ahead. Then there's fonts. Now, Word will apply paragraphs, indentations, etc. by default, and you can use these as you wish, along with bold, etc. Be careful though. If you apply a special font, then it might not be supported by Kindle. Avoid downloading unique OTF files, tempting though it might be. Then there's images. Now, images must be JPEG format and they must be inserted into the center of your page. You must insert them, not copy and paste them from another source. So that means selecting Insert and then Picture. Then there's pages. To start a new page, you can use a page break. Now, this will normally go at the end of each chapter, for instance. Note that different screen sizes make things like images a little unpredictable, so don't get too attached to your specific layouts. A very useful feature to add to your book is an active table of contents, and this will enable your readers to see everything that's in the book, but it'll also enable them to jump to the relevant page simply by clicking that item on the menu. And the great thing is that Word makes this incredibly easy. All you need to do is to use heading 1, which is found on the Home tab, whenever you write a chapter heading, and heading 2 or heading 3 for your subheadings. At the end, you can then click the References tab and then choose the menu style that you like. This will now not only generate your table of contents, but it will also be active so that people can jump anywhere in your book. Make sure that you update the table of contents every time that you update your book. Even if you're just changing the size of the font, you need to make sure that you keep the table up to date. Then there are bookmarks. Go to Insert and then Bookmark in order to add reference points to your book. Kindle will understand bookmarks called Start and bookmarks called TOC, Table of Contents, and that will let your readers jump to that point from anywhere in the book. And these are known as guide pages. Then there are certain additional pages that you might choose to add to your book and that are fairly common to find in books that you'll download from the Kindle store. And these include a title page, and this is a centered title with your subtitle and your name, or the author's name if you're not they. A copyright page, and you can include any copyright or legal notices here. Note that you automatically own the copyright to anything you create yourself. If you're commissioning the work, then you need to ensure that it is specifically stated that you will own the full copyright to the text once it's completed. You can add a dedication, and this is up to you, but it can be a nice touch that adds professionalism. Then there's the preface, which usually goes just after your dedication. A prologue, and that's a little introduction that's normally inserted just after the preface. Bibliographies, appendices, notes, and glossaries. And you can also choose to include adverts for your other books in the back pages. This is a particularly effective way to gain more sales for those titles, and it allows success in one area to lead to success in others. A very handy tool for those creating ebooks is the Kindle Previewer, which you can find on the Amazon.com website. This will allow you to install a tool on your PC or Mac that will let you preview how your book is going to look and function. Note that creating a textbook might require some more advanced formatting features. In that case, you can use the Kindle Textbook Creator. And this is another free tool, and it also comes with an inbuilt previewer. It's currently only in beta, however. Now you have your perfectly optimized book. The next stage is to upload it for Kindle. Yep, that's the bit you've probably been waiting for. To get started, you just need to head over to kdp.amazon.com. And this stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, and it's where you can upload and manage your different titles. Now you just need to sign in or sign up and to log in. And you can use your usual Amazon account for this, and the great news is that it's completely free. Amazon will take a commission for the sales of your book, but there's no fee for setting it up in the first place, which is great news if you don't have a ton of cash to invest. Next, you just click Create New Title. From here, you enter your title and a few extra pieces of information such as the book name, subtitle, series title, volume number, edition number, language, author, publisher, contributors, ISBN if you've purchased one, categories, and publishing rights. Don't check that your book is in the public domain or you'll waiver your copyright. Now comes creating your listing and cover image for maximum sales. Now most of this is self-explanatory. Note though that some of these elements are going to have a big impact on how easily discoverable your book is. The description, for example, is particularly important for helping people find your book and for maximizing your sales. Make sure you use your key phrases a couple of times, very subtly and only if it reads naturally, and to sell what makes your book such a good buy. Remember, we discussed earlier how mentioning similar titles is no bad thing. Likewise, you'll recall that focusing on the problem that your book solves can help, as can looking at the value proposition, how your book will make someone's life better. Similarly, you need to carefully choose your category. You can select up to 2 browse categories, meaning your book will come up when people search in those areas. There are also a few other things to select, such as an age and a reading age, but those are optional. Now move on to the next step, which is to upload and preview your book content. Once you've taken a look and you're happy with the way it looks, then you'll need to confirm your content rights. This is also the point at which you'll be adding your cover. This is one of the most important factors when it comes to getting downloads, as it's going to be what people look at, along with the title and description, when making their decision. This is also how you'll stand out when people are browsing through different options. Make sure that your book has a title that looks good in black and white, think high contrast, and choose something that immediately communicates what your book is about to the readers. It needs to look good in color too, of course, as people will browse on their Kindle Fires and through their PC browsers. Again, if you don't have the necessary skills to create a beautiful high-definition book cover, outsource it. Finally, you'll need to enter your pricing and your royalties. Interestingly, you can choose to select 35% or 70% for your royalties, though the thing to keep in mind is that you can't choose 70% royalty above a certain price. Another reason you may choose the 35% option is that the amount you'll earn will never change. If Amazon introduces a special offer to promote its books, it will still pay you 35% of the original price that you chose. On the other hand, if you opted for the 70% royalty option and Amazon has a special offer running, you'll only get 70% of the current price at that time. Choosing your price carefully is an important part of the whole process, as it will impact on your turnover and your profit margins. If you're unsure how to go ahead, Kindle actually offers some support with its KDP pricing support service. This can help you to identify how changing your price will impact on profits and sales. This takes into account factors such as your category, customer reviews and ratings, the book's bestseller rank, your previous sales as an author, page count, and so on. Another strategy is to compare yourself with other books in the same category. How are they priced? Which ones sell best? Ultimately, it's worth experimenting in this area, and bear in mind that you can change your price whenever you like. There are more options too for how you want to monetize and distribute your book. You can enroll in Kindle Select, for instance, in which case your book will be entered into Kindle Unlimited and will be available for Kindle owners' lending library. In these cases, you will receive different royalties depending on various factors. As a rule, you'll be paid a very small amount of money each time someone reads one of your pages. The hope is that this will add up for you over time. The big restriction? Well, to be eligible for Kindle Direct, your book needs to be exclusive to Amazon and you can't sell it anywhere else. Conversely, if you become a bestseller, you might be chosen for Select without having to agree to exclusivity. If you're a really big player, you can even negotiate different agreements for Kindle Unlimited, although most people watching this won't be in that position, unfortunately. If your book is enrolled in Kindle Select, you'll also be more likely to be included in promotions. Your book might even be given away free for a given time period. Now, that might sound damaging unless you opted for the 35% commission, but actually it's a very good thing as it can increase your downloads, help to get you more 5-star ratings, and ultimately improve your position in the Kindle store. This can subsequently lead to many more sales. While there are some downsides to Kindle Select, it's ultimately going to be worth experimenting with for most people. In the process of getting to this point, we've already covered a lot of topics that should help your book to rank. You're in Kindle Select. You chose your niche well. You have a great cover and a description with some key phrases in it. So far, so good. At the same time, using strict adherence to the formatting guide will also help. Now, what else can you do to get some exposure? While no one knows the exact algorithm that Amazon uses to define the position of its books, there are a few things that we know factor in. These are reviews, ratings, and downloads. So if you have a great description and a good price, the next strategy needs to be getting as many downloads and positive reviews as you possibly can. Selling your books for a while using a low price is a very good way to do this, as is making sure that your books are very well written and that they get good reviews. Don't be afraid to ask your readers to review your book if they've enjoyed it. Just as on an app, there's nothing to prevent you from including a little reminder for your readers and telling them how much it would help you out if they consider leaving some feedback. If you already have a platform such as a blog or a mailing list, then this is an excellent place to promote your book and to ask people to leave positive reviews. You can also use social media, etc., to promote special offers and to drive as many downloads as possible. Don't be afraid to eat into your own profits in the short term. This will help a great deal in the long term. Note as well that people are moved to write nicer reviews when they paid less for the book. Another tip is to create an author page on Amazon Central, which will help to give your books more credibility. You can also use other traditional forms of marketing. Now, that means using Google AdWords, for instance, or Facebook ads. These might be lost leaders to begin with, meaning that you'll spend more money on advertising than you'll earn. But in the long run, it can help your book get more attention and more downloads, which will give it the momentum that you need to get into the top 20. Likewise, you can also get your book written about in magazines and on blogs, as mentioned earlier, especially if you're willing to offer a hefty discount for a short time. Or how about creating a video advert for YouTube? This worked very well for Tim Ferriss and his 4-Hour Chef book. And there you have it. That's pretty much everything you need to know to start succeeding on Kindle. To summarize what we've learned, create a book in the right niche. Choose a small niche, but one with broad enough appeal. Pick a niche that allows you to easily use your existing contacts to promote it. Make sure your book is well written and edited and that it offers something genuinely new for your audience. Outsource the creation of your book if necessary. Think of ways to reuse content and to get maximum profit for your investment. Format your book using the strict guidelines provided by Amazon. Create a great cover, description, and so on. Subtly use key phrases. Consider the correct pricing and whether you should enroll into Kindle Select. Run promotions to maximize downloads, ratings, and momentum. Promote your book externally through social media, YouTube, your blog, other sites, etc. Then rinse and repeat. This is an incredibly exciting and rewarding way to make money online, and with the right approach and a well-written book, it can also be incredibly profitable and it can facilitate a true passive income. Everyone's got a book in them. It's time to get yours out.